If you are trying to navigate the modern economy, you already have enough to worry about. Between a volatile housing market and the rising cost of living, financial anxiety is at an all-time high. And if you spend enough time looking for answers online, that anxiety will eventually lead you to a website called usdebtclock.org. It is a sensory assault. A black screen packed with rapidly spinning neon red and green dashboard numbers, sprinting upward to visualize a looming economic collapse. The site feels authoritative. Its glowing digits and dark backdrop mimic the physical national debt clock, a famous billboard that has hung near Times Square in New York City since 1989. Combined with a .org domain name, this aesthetic suggests a connection to official government branches like the Department of the Treasury. To a casual observer, the site appears to be a legitimate public resource for tracking macroeconomic health. However, the U.S. government has zero affiliation with this website. Even the Durst Organization, the private real estate company that owns the physical clock in New York, has issued statements clarifying they have no connection to the site's operators. Registration information for the domain is shielded from public view, but the site's mobile app is sold by a private entity called Chrono Numeric Labs. Their business model involves charging users for an app that repackages free government data into this high-velocity, high-stress format. By adopting the visual language of a government agency, the site establishes an immediate sense of trust. Once that trust is secured, the dashboard can begin guiding the viewer toward a state of heightened panic. The first psychological layer of the site relies entirely on velocity. Human brains are wired to react to rapidly changing negative stimuli. Watching a master number tick upward at Mach speed bypasses logical analysis and directly engages your biological fight-or-flight response. This velocity works because the site strips away all macroeconomic context. It presents the $34 trillion national debt as a monolith of doom, as if it were a single, massive credit card bill that must be paid in full by tomorrow morning. But the budget of a sovereign nation that prints its own currency is not the same as a household budget. A massive portion of this debt is actually held by the American public in the form of treasury notes and savings bonds. This chart compares the raw national debt against the debt-to-GDP ratio. Most economists agree that this ratio is a far more accurate metric for measuring a country's actual financial sustainability, as it accounts for the nation's capacity to generate wealth and pay its obligations. usdebtclock.org ignores these assets and metrics. The relentless spinning numbers are designed to overwhelm you, creating a feeling that the conventional economy is already dead and priming you to look for a solution. Once the dashboard has successfully induced a sense of panic, it points you toward the bottom right corner of the screen. Here, the site introduces its primary cure, the dollar-to-silver and dollar-to-gold ratios. These numbers present what looks like a massive, undiscovered investment opportunity. The site often displays silver at over $3,000 and gold past $30,000, while actual market spot prices are just a tiny fraction of those amounts. This equation illustrates the math trick behind those inflated numbers. The site calculates the price of gold if the entire M2 supply were strictly backed by U.S. gold reserves. This relies on the gold standard, an economic model officially abandoned in 1971. It was President Richard Nixon who oversaw the Nixon shock, economic measures that ended the direct convertibility of the U.S. dollar to gold. Precious metal dealers use these theoretical, inflated numbers from the debt clock as objective proof to sell gold and silver to scared investors. They convince buyers that these assets are currently on sale, driving real-world wealth into bullion purchases that often carry heavy markups and premiums. The site uses obsolete what-if math to create a false sense of undervaluation. It turns a theoretical calculation into a massive sales tool for an industry that thrives on economic fear. Beyond the direct sales pitch for metals, the site serves a secondary purpose. It operates as an interactive hub designed to normalize fringe financial theories. The dashboard contains several hidden, clickable elements. Users who hover over specific tickers will find secret windows that reveal messages unrelated to fiscal data. These secret messages frequently touch on apocalyptic scenarios, Great Reset warnings, and anti-central bank manifestos aimed at the Federal Reserve. The site even includes tickers for meme coins like Doge, a reference popular in specific cryptocurrency circles. This links speculative digital assets to official-sounding government debt statistics. By integrating these unproven concepts alongside legitimate data, the site creates a psychological feedback loop. It validates paranoia and uses the secret nature of the messages to make conspiracy theories feel like exclusive financial insights. USDebtClock.org functions as a lead generation tool for newsletters, coin dealers, and crypto influencers. It provides the exact terrifying visual evidence they need to convince anxious users that a complete financial apocalypse is entirely inevitable. Chrononumeric Labs, the company behind the site, monetizes this anxiety directly through their mobile app. They have turned free, abrogated government information into a paid commodity wrapped in a high-stress package. The sustainability of a $34 trillion national debt is a complex issue warranting serious study. The debate over fiscal policy and long-term economic health is a vital conversation for any citizen. However, a platform engineered to induce a fight-or-flight response is the absolute worst place to learn about macroeconomics. Genuine financial security is built on critical analysis, diversification, and a deep skepticism of anyone trying to sell a secret cure to a manufactured apocalypse.